Thank you, Daisy, and good afternoon, everyone. Could you rerun the introductory video? I love those videos when people are complaining, but there's no mention of electricity. Brilliant. So I think you should run it again. Thank you for the invitation. What looks like to be a really full day. What we at UK Power Networks understand the importance, in fact, the increasing importance of reliable electricity supply. And what I will try and do over the next 10 minutes or so, give you the confidence that there is no energy crisis that is likely to hit London, and the supply of electricity in London is in fact in good hands, and we are planning for future growth in electricity demand, not just as David has already outlined because of the growth in population and housing, but also as we move towards a low carbon economy. And earlier on there was a group talking about the electric vehicles. So as low carbon technologies are rolled out, we will find the electrification of transport. It's the other example. We will find that electricity demand will continue to increase, and therefore it's important from our perspective that we have the plans to provide you with the confidence that you need, that the electricity in London and indeed in our part in our region where we supply electricity, it'll be reliable electricity supply. A quick introduction on UK Power Networks. 4 years ago, the three networks of London, the southeast of England and east of England were acquired from EDF Energy. So the ownership went from French to Hong Kong Chinese. They are now owned by Hong Kong Infrastructure, which is a worldwide conglomerate, Hong Kong Electric, and the Li Ka-shing Foundation. And the Hong Kong Infrastructure is the biggest foreign investor in the UK. And I think that's an important point to make, because as a major investor in the UK, their reputation is paramount. And the best way to damage your reputation is to have poor electricity supply. So they don't want to do that, obviously, and therefore the demands on making sure that the electricity supply, the reliability of the network remains and indeed continues to improve. At the bottom of the overhead, you see how the energy industry is split up between generation, transmission, distribution is where we operate, and then supply. The suppliers that selling electricity and billing for electricity in industrial and commercial and domestic consumers. So UK Power Networks operates within the distribution sector, and basically you can come to us when your power goes off or when you need a service in terms of a new connection or changes to your meters or the likes. You can't blame us for the increase in prices. Today there's been a reference of the electricity market to the Competition and Market Authority, but Ofgem has actually referred the suppliers and excluded the distributors and the transmitters, and indeed the generators. Quick metrics on UK Power Networks. As Daisy has already said, we supply electricity to about a third of the UK and the area that I just described in London, the south east and the east of England. Our track record over the last 4 years is basically what do we focus on? As an electricity distributor, we focus on the safety of the public that we deliver electricity to, as well as our employees, the reliability of the network, the customer service that we provide when any of our customers have got reasons to contact us, innovation to make sure that we pursue best practice that's adopted anywhere in the world and bring it to London. And we focus on central London because, as I said, reputation is easily lost in central London without the right focus. We heard David talk about The Olympics, clearly that was a big challenge for UK power networks, and we're delighted that we were able to invest some £120 million, but importantly, the delivery of electricity was faultless during the Olympic Games, and cost efficiencies to make sure that the electricity bills stay as low as possible. When you look at those measures, overall, over the 4 years, we're delighted with the performance of our employees, where both employee safety and public safety has increased by some 60%. Reliability, the amount of time our customers in London can expect to be out of power in any 1 year, has reduced from about 50 minutes, 48 minutes, down to 30 minutes. How often can you expect the power to be off? This is on average 22. That means your power will be, you can expect your power to be lost once every 5 years. That's 22 customer interruptions per 100 customers per year. So it's roughly every 5 years. But I'm not going to ask the question, because there'll be some people in the audience that might have been off 5 times in the last 5 months, and I see some nods. I'm not going to ask the question. So delighted with the performance. Importantly, as I said right at the outset, we've got the plans. We put in our plans for the period 2015 to 2023, and we expect to invest. Those plans haven't been approved, and I understand the Lord Mayor talked this morning about the reluctance from the regulator, Ofgem, to invest ahead of need. That is an issue that we're addressing, but I don't think it's an issue that's going to cause reliability or deferral of investment in London. But over the next 8 years, from the period 2015 to 2023, we expect to spend some £2 billion. Importantly, when you look at the numbers on the screen, you see that there's significant reduction in the operating costs on things like indirect costs. Network operating costs are reducing by 15%, but the significant increases of 48% and 15% are planned for load-related capital expenditure to cater for the load, the increase in demand that we expect in London, as I spoke about earlier, and known related capex, that is basically replacement of existing assets. And you can see that there are significant increases. So while we're reducing the day-to-day operating costs, we're investing on expanding and renewing the London network. The major London projects, and I'm certainly not going to go through all of them, but there's about £170 million of expenditure listed there, and they are strategically placed to make sure that we address the growth in demand in development areas, again, that David mentioned earlier on, and also in areas where, especially central London, where we expect growth emanating from new developments. A quick snapshot of operational improvements in central London, and I talked about the fact that the power can be off on average once every 5 years to us as individuals. The graph that you see, over the last 4 years, we've put special focus on central London, and this is a UK Power Networks homemade map of central London as to how we define central London. And you can see the improvement on the average amount of time that if a customer loses power, how long can they be without power. And you can see from 2010 how it's improved, but importantly, looking forward, it's going to improve even more. It's going to halve. It's going to improve by 50%. So what we're doing is investing on renewing the network to make sure that the power outages are more rare, and when they do happen, we respond quicker. We're also looking at the major, as I said earlier, we focus on innovation to make sure that we understand what's happening, and we look very often on a regular basis on major world cities, whether it be New York, Los Angeles, whether it be Sydney, Singapore, Hong Kong, to make sure that we understand what the rest of the world is doing, and we bring best practice back to London. But we're also investing on R&D, and there are a number of projects, whether it be these 4 projects that you've got on the screen are largely focusing, certainly the flexible plug and plays, to make sure that we facilitate the connection of distributed generation, that is renewables, whether it will be solar or photovoltaics. Smarter network storage, we are testing, and we have the biggest battery storage in the UK, and we're testing how electricity storage will work in the future, and we're doing some work with vulnerable customers. But the standout R&D project that we are in the process of undertaking, and it's actually starting to wind up, and we're writing reports which we can share with the rest of the industry, is the Low Carbon London, which is an investment of some £30 million, £28 million, in conjunction with Ofgem and a number of our partners which are listed on the board. And what we're basically doing in London, testing smart meters, electric vehicle demand, what's the impact going to be as electric vehicles become more popular, what's the impact going to be on our network, how do we regulate electric vehicle charging posts, small scale embedded generation, how would it work if all of us had our own small generation, and a number of other initiatives that the project is attracting interest worldwide as to what is happening here and what are the lessons that we're learning from this project that can be used in other parts of the world. Basically, the long-term vision for a distributor such as ours, in the past, it's been basically to receive electricity from the transmission network, as we saw earlier, and deliver it to households and industrial and commercial premises. In future, there's going to be electricity being generated from a lot more places than they are now, whether it's renewables, small renewables, whether it's solar, photovoltaics, and basically distribution networks will be converted from a distribution network operator to the distribution system operator, where we will be able to take electricity from the grid, and also customers will be able to sell back into the grid, which would lead you to the smart grids, which are, again, the UK is actually leading the world in the implementation and development of smart grids. So in conclusion, we are part of the largest foreign investor in the UK through the Chong Kong Group. Their reputation as a major investor in the UK is important. UK Power Networks' business vision is to be a respected corporate citizen, which means make sure that the reliability of the network and the reputation of the organisation is maintained. London is a world city. People often ask me, what keeps you awake at night? And in simple terms, making sure that the safety of the public and the employees is paramount. And the second one is making sure that London major events, and they happen in London on a daily basis, actually we don't cut them off. The industry is changing, but I think UK Power Networks would deliver the electricity infrastructure required to maintain London from an electricity perspective as the best city in the world. Thank you.